Okay, so as promised, we're gonna look at some not so trivial to spot examples of code injections. We're gonna do so by looking at PHP. Again, these types of vulnerabilities don't just occur in PHP. PHP is just good to show examples on because first, the code snippets are short, and second, PHP is a terrible language. So PHP offers a function called preg replace, and preg replace takes as parameters a regular expression, a input string, and a function that's supposed to be called on the match of the regular expression. So what it does is it replaces all occurrences of the regular expression in the string by the upper version of the string in this case. So what we're doing here is just a regular expression string replacement. So there should be nothing going wrong here. Well, maybe you notice this flag here, the E flag. What does it do? Well, it transforms the match, so whatever is matched here, and brings it into the correct type. And how does it do that? Well, just by evaluating it. It literally calls the eval function on your match. So if we, as an attacker, could smuggle PHP code into the input string, the PHP code would be matched and then just executed, which is not a good idea. This is how PHP-MyAdmin could be hacked. It's a very popular database management software, and with exactly that vulnerability you could gain remote code execution. So, as I said, this doesn't only happen in PHP. For example, Python offers an input function that is Python 2 actually, that is used to get user input. And that's the way to gain user input in Python 2. And how is it implemented? Well, it's implemented like this. It just takes the input and then runs an eval on it. So the developer already has the correct type. They fixed that in Python 3, luckily. So if you think about it, those two code snippets here are actually the same. They have the same effect. They just do a blind eval on user supplied input. Just in this case, it's not so obvious. Another example of code injection is dynamic code loading. Many programming languages offer the functionality to load code at runtime in case it's needed. PHP does so with the include function. And with the include function, we can just load another .php function, another function with PHP code inside, and yeah, that is loaded. So in this code snippet here, we have user input. So let's imagine this is the index.php file. And it takes a get parameter p, and then it just loads this page. So why is this a problem? Because the code would already have to be on the server in order to be executed, right? Well, not exactly. What happens is PHP also takes scripts on other hosts and downloads them via HTTP, for example, and then just executes them. So as an attacker, we could submit a URL that's under our control and then just put PHP code there. This here can be deactivated by the admin via PHP configuration option. Well, what could we do then? Well, one example is this. We could, for example, do a GET request that contains valid PHP code. Then this request will obviously end up in the access log of the web server, and then afterwards we can just load the web server's access log and the PHP interpreter will run the PHP code in it. Another possibility would be to, for example, load our own session file, and if session files by PHP are used to store session information on user side, on server side, and well, if we can control session information, for example our username, then we could just set our username to valid PHP code and it would be executed. Another great exploitation feature that PHP offers are stream wrappers. For example, the PHP stream wrapper. So instead of writing a protocol here, we can write the name of a stream wrapper, in this case PHP, and we use the filter of the stream wrapper and use a base64 encode, to encode the resource db.php. That will lead to this, in this code snippet, to give us the file db.php in base64 encoding. Then deliver it to our web browser. And then we can just decode it, obviously, and then we have the db.php file, which might contain database access credentials. Another stream wrapper is the data stream wrapper. In this case, we use base64 encoded text, that is here, that is just PHP code, base64 encoded PHP code. The stream wrapper will decode it for us, and then here will be valid PHP code, and then again the PHP code will be executed because it's dynamically loaded.